to the world above. Chapter 2. Planting seeds without my mother noticing is harder than I thought it would be. She appears whenever I try to sneakily drop a seed down in the dirt. However, throughout the whole day, I've seen how much work my mother has done for me. I know she hates magic and wishes to move into the kingdom of Amishi, but I want the best for her and our farm. I don't care anymore about being wary of magic. It can bring her happiness. I know it. So that's why I trudge along to the manor gates to meet with the maid. Like the night before, it's silent and a bit chilly. I spot the maid's tall figure before her face comes into view while her golden hair glints in the moonlight. I wonder how long she has been standing there. She smiles when I reach her. "Do you have the bean?" she asks. I open my hand and reveal the bean on my palm. "Excellent, let's get going." The maid starts to walk. For every one step of hers, I take 3. We walk along the path of the marketplace for a while, but then we go down towards the beach. That's where she stops, right where the soil and sand intermix. "Have you heard the stories of Peter Pan?" she asks me. "Yes, why?" She looks up at the night sky, covered in clouds. Her voice is gentle and soft. "It's said he visits the mermaids on the shoreline. I thought it would be fitting if we planted the bean here. I'll let you do the honors. What is your name, by the way?" "Jack." "And yours?" "Charlotte." I nod, and then I step forward to stick the bean in the damp soil. Charlotte places her hand out to speed up the process. And wow, does it speed up. The beanstalk shoots right out of the ground, launching into the sky. Both Charlotte and I quickly grab onto it as it continues to grow. We watch as the ground vanishes beneath us, and we reach a height that would kill us 3 times over. The beanstalk continues to climb until we hit the clouds. I glance around the hazy scene. "What did I tell you? There's nothing up here." Charlotte smiles brightly. "We aren't at the top yet, Jack. There's more to be discovered." My eyes trail up the remaining part of the beanstalk. Getting to the top of it would take us all night. However, I like my chances of climbing up rather than down. Charlotte begins to shuffle her way up, and grudgingly, I follow after her. As I predicted, it takes us all night to climb to the top. As I heave myself up and look around, all I see are clouds. "There's still nothing." I wait for Charlotte to respond, but she doesn't. She looks towards where the sun is rising. The clouds clear and low, and behold, a castle stands on a floating island. Its navy blue banners toss about proudly against the wind. The towers overlook its wondrous kingdom as the sun comes shining. My mouth is wide open. Charlotte creates a bridge with the ends of the beanstalk to the island that is only a few feet away. Dizzily, I walk with her as we step onto the floating island that defies everything I have ever learned. Is the entire island lifted by magic? Onward we walk until we reach a village that is waking up for the morning. I see that all of them have wings on their backs, which amazes me even more. When they see us, however, one young girl shouts out, while pointing to Charlotte, "Giant!" Some of the younger people there start to scream, but then an older woman says, "That is no giant, children." "Then what is it?" the same girl asks, hiding behind the woman's skirt. The woman looks at Charlotte carefully, staring directly at her ears. "What are you?" Charlotte cocks her head. "I can ask the same thing." "We're fairies." The woman responds, but hesitantly says, "You aren't a giant, right?" "What are giants?" I ask. The young girl comes out and squeaks, "The big bad creatures that took over the castle Chana. Them and the trolls. We can't do anything about it, or they'll eat us." "So the castle has been attacked?" Charlotte put together. The girl nods. The woman stares at Charlotte. "You never answered my question. What are you?" "I've never seen your kind before." "Human. We come from the lands below." The girl gasps as she pulls her hair. "The land below, like from the myths? Oh boy. Have you come to save us?" "You have, haven't you?" Charlotte and I look at each other, and then I say, "Would there be a reward?" The woman is the one to answer. "Most likely, but if it's gold you seek, you could steal it from the castle or become the eyes and ears of the creatures." Our Lord has betrayed many fairies for a pile of coins. She sighs and takes the girl's hand. You won't find heroes within these two, sweetie. I know there's a prophecy about a human ruling China, but they are not it. The two walk away from us. It hurt to hear the woman say I couldn't be their hero, yet it was a relief to know I didn't have to go into the castle and kill trolls and giants. Charlotte hems as she brushes a finger against her narrow chin. I think we should give it a try. What a try! You know, storm the castle and save this place. Think about it, Jack, we may not look like much, but I've got my magic, and you could be a distraction. Without my agreement to this ridiculous plan, she marches off. I don't like our chances, and this time I'm sure she's lying, not only to me but to herself. Yes, it would be awesome to play hero and rule this place, but won't it be easier to sneak in and take a few bags of coins? I've been gone long enough as it is. My mother's probably screaming her lungs out in the marketplace by now. And if we do this, I may never return home. As quietly as possible we climb some vines that lead to a balcony of the castle. All of this has been a game. A game where all we do is wing it and take chances. This next part will be the worst because we'll be inside the castle. Once on the balcony, we find it leads into an empty bedroom. The room looks ransacked and beaten. The wallpaper is torn and the pillows insides are all over the floor. Otherwise, it looks like an awesome chamber with the swans painted on the ceiling. The bird seems to be a recurring theme as we creep out of the room and into the halls of swan statues and tapestries. Again, we are lucky to find no one out in the halls. We continue along our adventure, looking for signs of gold or jewels or even giants and trolls. We never did find out how many creatures there are. That would have been helpful information to know, but it's too late now. Suddenly we hear a door open down the hallway. Quickly we hide behind a stone table with a framed painting of a lady above it. A huge woman, about 17 feet tall, comes hobbling out of a room. She wears a glittery crown, 6 necklaces, 10 rings, and who knows how many bracelets. Charlotte and I stare at the unmistakable giant as she continues down the hall. When she turns the corner we come out of our hiding spot. Change your plans, no fighting those things, but I bet you anything there's something big in that room. Charlotte says, her confidence lost in destroying the giants. I nod, glad she isn't insane. Good choice. I bet there are 50 crowns and a dress made strictly out of diamonds in that room. Charlotte laughs, and we make our way to the room the giant left. Before we enter, we crack the door open. No one is there, so we head on in to find shining diamonds, sapphires, gold, and amber jewels. There is also a beautiful harp and an egg. On both the egg and harp are specks of diamonds and blue sapphires with wondrous designs and detail. We completely forget about everything else in the room, even a diamond swan. I'll take the harp and you take the egg? Charlotte asks. Sure. I agree, already picking up the egg, which was heavier than I expected. Just as Charlotte takes the harp, we hear thundering steps coming toward the room. We briskly hide in a closet and peek out through the crack as a troll comes into the room. Unlike the giant, he is around 15 feet tall, but that doesn't make him any less intimidating. We watch as he browses through the treasure. Then he stares in the direction where the egg and harp once were. He lets out a bellow and starts to toss things around the room while stomping on the floor. We jiggle inside the closet as its legs bounce on the floor. Someone took my egg! Kara, if I find out it was you. He storms out of the room in a big hurry. We let ourselves breathe again as we get out of the closet. I turn to Charlotte. We should probably get out of here while we can. This should be enough to make us rich beyond our dreams. She nods. You're right. Let's get going. Your mom is in for a big surprise when you get home. I grimace. Yeah, she'll either love me to death or hate me to death. I don't know how I'm going to explain this. Guess we'll find out. Come on. We leave the room and head down the hall. I stop short when I smell the wondrous scent of stew and hear the whisperings of fairies. Charlotte looks back at me, waving her hand urgently. But I can't stop my curiosity or the sneaky feeling I had in my gut. My legs bring me to the door where the smell drifts to my nose. I crack it open and step into a kitchen with a large, bedazzled cooking pot over a fire, and a giant, golden cage. Inside the cage are 3 fairies. The 2 older ones, a male and a female, whisper to one another, facing away from me. The third is a girl my age. Based on their apparel, I assume they are nobles. The girl sits in a lacy white dress as she mindlessly ties knots in a green ribbon. Her hair is an unnatural light pink, and her skin is rosy pale compared to my dark complexion. I can't help but think she's like a caged bird, especially when she and the other 2 had feathered wings. When she looks up, her shocking red eyes land on me. She quickly stands and grips the bars in front of her. "You," she whispers harshly. "Help us." The other fairies turn around, sharing similar features and hair as the girl, except the young man's hair is dark red. The 2 girls stare at me pleadingly, but the man's red eyes narrow. He doesn't think I will help. I clutch the large golden egg tighter as I feel it slipping from my grip. Charlotte appears next to me. "Jack, we have to go," she says, but then she sees the fairies. I'm frozen. I don't know what to do. The right choice would be to drop the egg and save them, but I want to run as I feel the pounding steps of a giant drawing near. This egg is all I need to help my mom. I have what I want. Charlotte is also conflicted as I see one of her feet pointing in the direction of the fairies, and the other ready to escape with her harp. I don't want to choose, so I turn my head to Charlotte. Charlotte realizes I'm following her lead as I have done the entire trip. She chews on her lip. There is a hint of determination in her green eyes, just like when she suggested we could beat the trolls and giants. Like before, however, it fades when she hears the troll and giant's voice in the corridor. "We'll come back," she promises the fairies. "We'll find something to break you out." Charlotte grabs my hand and yanks me away. Even though the girl is no longer in front of me, her disappointment is etched in my mind. Yet I follow Charlotte to the balcony we used to get into the palace. We aren't returning, and if we do, it will be too late. When we are back on the beanstalk, Charlotte shrinks the plant until we are safely on the ground. I stare up at the clouds, marveling at what is truly hidden there while guilt eats at my chest for leaving those fairies to die. "Are we really not going back for him?" I ask, still looking at the clouds. "First thing tomorrow I'll go." "See to it that you get home safely, Jack," Charlotte says. "You don't need to come. I should have never asked you to do this." She trudges off, carrying her harp under her arm.